Welcome to A Legend Talks. I am the legendary Michael Bowie.
Yes. And your boy is back. Your boy is fresh. He's so clean. The legendary Emmanuel Pierce.
And this is A Legend Talks. We are in our final episode talking about one of the other huge main characters.
The dude who gets everything. Sorry.
Allergies. Are we going to do this the entire episode or?
Allergies. My mistake. Allergies.
Yeah, I have them too. I'm allergic to bullshit. It's going to start.
The dude who gets everything. Sorry, there it is.
So anyway, this is probably one of the biggest characters. I have so much to say, I think, about him because he's somebody that I think is misunderstood. You see the bad acts that he does, and you think of him as being a bad person or a criminal, but he has great intentions. I compare him all the time to Thanos, and where he has good intentions, he just has a different way of going about it. Now, the funny thing is there something wrong? You need your reading glasses on or something? So I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, I talked to I did an interview with TC Readers Lounge. Check out the interview; it's on Facebook. And I was talking with the person in charge and the person interviewing me, and she was explaining that Dominic really does have good intentions, and that he's one of her favorite characters. He's one of my favorite characters because you have to really listen to what he says. And I think I asked this question so many times. I know I've asked it inside of this, on this show, on which world would be better, the one that we live in now or the one that he created. And quite honestly, I think that's a hard question to answer because you don't know if his way would work. The fact of the matter is that it takes a lot of loss and hardship and problems and violence for people to realize when does it end. At some point, I compare it to slavery to say slavery at one point ended, right? It happened for so long and then it ended. And granted, we're not inside the best position still from racist and racism and how that played out with what are you doing? This is the last episode. Why are we doing this again? I'm asking you a question.
Are you done?
Huh?
Are you done?
I'm talking to the people and you're doing stupid stuff right now. I don't even know on the last episode.
Oh, you're not done. Okay, well, go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish, Michael. Go ahead.
Anyway, to the people is I think that he has good intentions, and the only way that you can kind of realize that if you've been through that, and I think that the only way to realize that is to go through the hardships. And comparing it to slavery is that even though we haven't gotten better, we gotten better than what we used to be. And I think that it's a progress, but it's a slow progress. And even the world that we live in now, maybe it's getting better, but people have to realize the ignorance behind some of the things that they do, the hatred specifically. Even looking at the last episode with Adriana Hart when we were talking about hatred, so many people that say hateful things, but they want to come across as being kind. Oh no, I don't mean bad things about Democrats or Republicans. I'm such a kind person and I agree with this. But then you go and you see their post on Facebook. You talk to them and they're like, I can't believe gas went up. Fucking Democrats. Or, I can't believe the Republicans did this. Like, there's just so much hate behind what they say. So if we're talking about hate, and we were talking about hate last episode, this is the best episode to focus on hate. For example, I hate whatever Manny's about to do, but we're done. It's the last episode. So I can talk forever as long as you don't get a segment. This is all good with me.
You done? Is you finished, or is you done?
I could talk forever. So I can never be finished. What? Okay, I'm pretty sure that's copyrighted. Whatever that music is they like Pink Panther? It's copyrighted. Okay, keep us on the hat. I'm gonna do this stupid crap again. Alright, the song is over. Go ahead and ask your question.
Welcome back to E! News, folks. It's your boy, reporter E. Looking so fresh and so clean. Yes, sir. Back with the questions that the people want asked and giving you the answers that you need to know.
Same question.
I am here.
Same question.
Seems like Michael Bowie has had a residency on E! News, but that's coming to an end for a little bit. We want to thank Michael for going through his first book with us here on E! News. I'm here with the guy himself, writer, director, producer, actor, DJ, filmmaker, playwright, comedian, photographer, jackass, Michael Bowie. We're going to thank you again so much for being on E! News, Michael. Let's go ahead and jump right into our first question. I would say that Dominic Harvey is a very dark. What does it take to, in terms of mind frame and mindset, what does it take to write about a character that some consider to be so gruesome, and to write those graphic scenes of, him burning down the house, killing the mom and the baby, taking another baby, raising him on his own. As a writer, what does that take to get in the mind frame to write in that way and kind of write those scenes? I mean, you've never murdered anyone as far as I know. So what does it take to do that?
That's a good question. Looking at people like Stephen King, I know that when he wrote, he went to like a cemetery, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go right in the cemetery. But first of all, I don't like dead people. I can't be around dead people. I don't like going in hospitals with sick people. Like, I don't. So I was going to do it, but I was like, nah, I can't. But I did go to a very, 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 very dark place. I don't want to tell you the things I did or watched in order to gauge my mind, because I've never killed anybody. I'm a good citizen. I'm a good person. I watched documentaries about Gacy and Dahmer. I watched horror movies. I watched how a body is prepped for funerals. Oh my God, that was so disgusting. Oh my God, let's not even go back. There's so many different things, because if you're not that kind of person, you don't deal with that stuff. A murderer, a killer, a mortician, etc., dead bodies, hospitals. You don't deal with it. You don't see it. So how can you write for something that you've never done? And I can't put my mind in the mindset, let me go out and kill somebody, see what a murderer thinks. But I did watch the Gacy documentary, which I do recommend people go watch. Very, very interesting. Messed up in the mind. A little messed up. A little fucked up. Fucked up. I'm gonna say not even fucked up. He's not messed up. Fucked up. But I watched a lot of those. It was informational, but at the same time, is to look somebody in the eyes and you think many times that they just have mental issues. I think it really just helped me for if I ever was to write the prequel book, what Dominic went through that led to him being the way he is now. And that's essentially what that whole book would be about. Mm-hmm. So I really had to go to a dark place, watch a lot of dark things to try and understand the mind of Dominic Harvey. Yeah, and then Michael, I had to watch a lot of Disney movies to recover from it.
That's a good. That leads me to my next question: the mind of Dominic Harvey. Would you say this mind is filled with things that you've given him? You like to give Dominic presents throughout this book. You just give him one here and give him one there, and give him another here and another there. I would say his mind is filled with things that you like to give him, because you just give him everything. But that's just me. That's maybe that's just me.
Is there a fucking question in this, or?
Yeah. Why does Dominic get everything, Michael?
How many do you ask this every time his name comes up?
It's a great question. It's always a great question.
Terrible question. Horrible question. Because no one gives him anything. No one gives anybody anything in this world. Now, you can take something, you can earn something, but he wasn't given anything. Mm-hmm. He was somebody that you have two different voices. And in my eyes, in terms of those two different voices that are speaking up for the way the world is and the way the world became, you have Dominic for the way the world became as that voice. And it's ironic, as these were the last two people, the voice for what the world was Adriana Hart, analyzing it from that perspective and the way the world was, or where the world became. So you have that alternating scale where both voices were talking against each other, where both voices were in cahoots with each other. I almost gave a spoiler away to a new book about how those two are connected, but there are two separate voices that are speaking for, I guess what most people would say, good or evil. But they all just have good intentions. When you say he gets everything he wants and you kind of down him and he's the villain, that almost seems like that same kind of hatred from the Democrat-Republican point of view. No,
Michael.
No, because you asked the question and I'm going to answer it. The fact of the matter is that he's somebody that's doing stuff that he thinks is good to make the world better. No different than if you're a Democrat and you're looking at what Republicans do. Or if you're a Republican and you're looking at what Democrats do. You point them out, either side, as being the villain and you hate them, but they're doing stuff that they think is right or for whatever reason with what they think is their good intentions. Now, both sides have wrongs to them. But one side, I won't say which one, I think has a lot more hatred. Both have hatred on both sides, no doubt. But I think that there's some hatred from history on one side. And that needs to end. Let it go. Let politics go. Let hatred go. Let your personal beliefs go. And love more. Those are the things that I preach. That's the message that overall inside the book. And I think that Dominic is that representative of creating a new school version of Democrats versus Republicans. That kind of side of hatred and non-hatred. That side of good and evil. That side of two sides clashing and colliding against each other.
Michael, I just want to say something. I don't hate Dominic Harvey. I'm just a fan of what we call justice. And it seems that you are not a fan of what we call justice.
Did Dominic not die at the end of this book?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, folks. We'll figure that out in another episode.
Yeah, he died inside of this book, and so
see, Michael,
excuse me. Let me finish what I'm saying, because we're talking about this book, and then a new villain is given birth, Walt Michaels. So whereas he takes on that new role of Dominic Harvey, will he be as hated as Dominic Harvey? Justice was found. So in my eyes, looking at this book, yeah, it was.
Well, Michael, maybe you're right for this book. But fortunately for us, you decided that, since this book was so good, you just had to write 2 more books. We'll see if your idea and theory sticks up. Anywho, continuing on to
Of course, people need to hate Walt Michaels as much as they did Dominic. And whereas you don't know a lot about Walt Michaels, everyone has a history and story. And I could write a significant amount of stuff that happened to Walt Michaels and he becomes that new hated villain. But at the end of the day, without spoilers, I think that he will do justice. And he will be that villain. And I think you'll see other people that will step up and become that hated voice. But you have to keep in mind that regardless, I don't know what Walt Michaels' intentions are. Are they the same as Dominic's, where he has good intentions and wants to see people prevail, but under the politics of what he has in mind, the way and route and pathway he feels people should take? But we will see how the book 2 and or book 3 span out. But looking at book 1,
we'll see if there's justice, Michael, in the end. We will. Anywho, getting on to my last question for you today about Dominic Harvey. Would you say that Dominic is your favorite character?
I've already answered that question. I said that he's one of my favorite characters inside the book.
And it's a two-parter. It's a two-parter, Michael. And the reason I ask is, I feel like there's some hidden connection with Dominic Harvey in all of us. Would you say that there's a piece of Dominic Harvey in every single one of us?
Yes.
And why would you say that, Michael?
Because I think that there's so much hatred in the world. You can take the nicest person in the world, Mother Teresa. She done some shit. Martin Luther King. He done some shit. No one's perfect, and that hatred is imposed from society, and what we've endured growing up. to where we've said something negative or hateful or spiteful, or that we've had a little bit of Dominic in us that was put there by society, by others, by our parents. It wasn't there at birth. All we knew was love. We were innocent children. That's why they say children are innocent. That hatred has to come from somewhere. It's not grown inside of you. So therefore, it comes from other places. And now it's inside of you. And so I think that happens to everybody. It's impossible that it doesn't. So I think that Dominic Harvey is a piece of all of us. And at the end of the day, when Dominic died, the whole message in this is that you need to kill the Dominic Harvey inside of you. You need to get rid of the hatred that is inside of you.
Beautiful, beautiful, Michael. Beautiful. Leads me to my last question.
That was your last question.
No, my last question.
No, there's no last.
My last question.
Last question.
My last question. My last question. How is it that we get rid of the Dominic Harvey in ourselves?
How is what?
How do we kill the Dominic Harvey in ourselves? You know, we can't pull a gun inside of ourselves and shoot him. You know, we can't do like John Lewis and do that. So how, as people, do we
kill one, you have to recognize the hate inside of you, what it is. Because like I said earlier, some people think, like I have many friends like, oh no, I'm not racist. Oh no, I'm not hateful. I love all people. I'm such a kind soul. And then you, like I say, you see on their Facebook, fuck Democrats, fuck Republicans, fuck people, fuck this, I hate this, you're stupid, you're dumb, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. Recognize the hate and stop doing it. Spread more love. I don't think there's one thing, there's multiple things you can do to just be more loving and be more kind to individuals. Just because you said it out of anger, I'm sorry, is not going to fucking cut it. It should not have happened in the first place. Recognize the hate and eliminate it and be more loving. Who cares if you're different and have different views and beliefs and opinions? That's what makes us different. They're not only just arguing about political beliefs, they're arguing about skin color difference. They're arguing about religious differences, political differences, gender differences. Worry the fuck about you. Ain't that enough for you to worry just about you instead of other people? If you're going to worry about other people, worry about giving to other people. Giving to homeless. Doing more for charity. For those that are dying sick from diseases. And all the different kinds of awareness groups that are out there. I think that the love can be passed on just like the hate was.
Well, Michael, it seems like you hate. So with that being,
yes.
With that being said, we want to thank you for having us on. You know, we want to thank you for coming on to our show, coming on to E-News. We try to, do charity here by allowing you on our show. We just want to thank you for having us on. Again, folks, this is Michael Bowie, resident actor, comedian, director, producer, DJ, playwright, resident jackass, Michael Bowie. And again, he's not a journalist, folks. Not a journalist. That would be me, Reporter E. So we want to thank you all for tuning into E-News. And this is Reporter E. Signing off.
And here we go. Reporter B here. I know my mailbox has been filled with a lot of different things of like messages, emails, texts, all those kinds of messages. People want to know the juicy topics here at Reporter B News, and I am Reporter B. And here we go with the hard-hitting questions to those that have read the book, like Emmanuel Beers, where we are going to find out everything that needs to be found out. So, Manny, I really want to find. I mean, I could ask you a billion questions, and one of the bigger questions that I have always asked is, why do you hate him? And I know that your answer is going to be because you feel that he gets everything. But I'm going to try and stray away from that question and go to really get some positive out of you. Is there any point or anything that was said or done that you did side with, understand from Dominic in terms of his good intentions?
Is there a needle in the haystack, Michael? That's the type of question you just ask. A real journalist would ask a very pointed question to try to find that needle instead of saying, "Here's the haystack. Pull a needle for me."
I feel like this has nothing to do with my answer on Reporter B News.
Anywho, let me try to retrieve this look how small this. You see how small these are?
Is there any point
that very small
needle you really understood?
I agree with him that our current system does not work. There you go.
There it is. That's all we're looking at. What do you think in our current system is broken? And not only just that, what do you personally think? If you don't agree with Dominic's, what's broken and what do you think we should do to fix it?
Okay, well, that is a very loaded question that requires a lot of answer. So I will say this and generalize it as much as I possibly can. What I don't think works is the fact that everything we do in life is centered around money. And I think there are a lot of people that are not given the opportunity to make those gains as much as other people, whether that be situationally. And sometimes people put themselves in a bad situation. But I feel like we have enough in this world that all 7 billion people here could sustain a happy, healthy life. But if we didn't place value on people being above others, whether that's monetarily, status-wise, or I'm a boss or I'm the CEO, like what does that truly mean to have people work for you, right? It's the money one, right? You have a status now, you have a wealth that you can do stuff with. But what is it about being in charge of people that makes you feel good, or why do we need to have it? Like, what is the purpose of that? I feel like also we are all pushed into this one ideal of how life should be. And I'll say that, and this is from my revelation of this. I had 6 weeks off of work when my daughter was born, and in that time, I realized that my job isn't as important. A lot of the stuff that I do isn't as important as just taking care of her, and enjoying life. We don't get enough time to enjoy life. And that's strictly because of how our system is set up. Everything revolves around money. You have to have money to do things. Gotta have money to travel. Gotta have money to raise a baby. Gotta have money to have a house over your head, to put food in your mouth, to do all of those things. And it's not to say that people should be lazy or not want to go out and do things. I just think people's defined definition of what is important centered around money and not what makes us better as a whole in humanity.
To many people, money is important because it helps buy the materialistic things that keep them appealing, whether sexually to others or
it's a status thing. That's what I was saying. It's a status thing. It's either the money or this thing, or it's a status thing for a lot of people.
Which is upsetting when you look back at like the time where there was caveman. They didn't have makeup and nice Lamborghini cars and mansion houses and whatever else. They didn't look at making fun of somebody who had the worst grass outfit, leaf outfit, right. Where did we go wrong? And even when you look back in like the 1800s, I mean, were people really materialistic then? Like, how do we change and become? I mean, they were already dealing with hate with like slavery and hating each other inside of that aspect. Do you think that we're getting any better?
No, I think the world is getting worse, and I think more and more people are materialistic. More and more people have to have the luxuries of life. That's why everybody's their own boss now. Everybody's a CEO of their own company, or they got 50,000 side hustles. And it's because they gotta have what they see on TV, or what Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or somebody else said. I gotta have the brand new Tesla. I gotta have the McMansion on the block.
Well, for me, and I'm only just listening to what you say, I'm the CEO of Bowie Films, but I'm not the CEO because I want to be like Bill Gates and be the head honcho and own all the money and blah blah blah, be the next big thing. But I learned earlier that at some point you have to stop working for someone else's dream. And for somebody like me who's worked so many jobs for so long in my life, I've been working for other people to be at this top. And not happy because I'm not doing what I need to do. I'm here at the bottom, working for them to stay up here. And the only way that we can be equal is if I work just as hard to make that happen.
And again, Michael, that goes back to my problem. That's the problem with our system. There should be a world in which you shouldn't have to work. We would have so many more things that are creative, innovative. We would be further ahead as a society if people didn't constantly have to worry about working for money so that they could live.
Yeah, but I don't need money. My happiness comes from doing this. If I was making the same crappy pay, I don't need to make CEO pay. But
I'm saying if you could live the way that you live now and do this, you would be a happy person. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? But that is not possible. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't realize, a lot of the inventions, a lot of the stuff we have, a lot of those people were broke. They did it because they were passionate about what they were doing and they wanted to do that thing. It wasn't about, I'm going to make billions off of this. That was never what it was about. It's, I'm doing this because this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I care about. People don't do that anymore. People do whatever it is that can make them the most money. They don't do what they're passionate about. They don't do what they have an interest in. They're not as creative about that stuff anymore. Hey, half the people, I guarantee you right now, we could poll America. Half of the people are doing stuff right now they have no interest in, they don't even like, or they don't even know what they like or are interested in. They're just doing something because that's what they were told.
That's what they got stuck in. They got comfortable in. I've been in jobs that I've worked 10 plus, 15, 20 years, and I'm not happy in it.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. I'm not happy in it. I'm used to it. I'm not happy in it. I'm able to withstand it, and I don't need it. It's not hurting my bank account. Why am I there? And so if my energy, the same kind of energy I would put into some of those jobs that I would put into the job that I have the most passion in would make me more successful. But one of the things you were talking about with like broke people and poor people, I kind of developed this question to kind of ask you because so many people that are broke, other people that are not broke, that are rich, feel like those people that are broke are scamming the system in order to get ahead.
Which is interesting, right?
So I was just curious on your thoughts on people that are broke. What is the way, I don't know what the system is for them because a lot of those people that are rich, many are crooks. Many had inheritances, so they didn't even work at all to get any of that shit. So people that are broke, just because they didn't get inherited, didn't have some rich person that they inherited money from, or they didn't know somebody and have the contacts. And I've had some people where, I worked so hard and now I'm the CEO or the head manager of such and such. I worked my ass off and they need to work their ass off too. What are your thoughts on the system and what are your thoughts on poor people, broke people that want to try and get to that point and whatever process they use to try and get there? Because and sorry, not to just to connect that to why I'm asking that, because Dominic came from that kind of home.
Yeah, so I'll start with the thoughts. We all play the lottery once in our life. It's very at the very beginning of their life. Even if you never bought a lottery ticket, we all played the lottery at once at the beginning of our life. When you are born, you either hit the lottery or you don't. It's just that simple. Either you're born to rich parents or you're not. You either hit the lottery or you don't. So, a lot of people can't control where they come from. That is one thing in life that you cannot control. The parents that you are born to. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change it. You can't change that situation. There's nothing you can do about it. Totally out of your hands. And I will say that that situation too leads to other things that do not lead to the opportunities for people to make it. And for people who do make it, or for people who do have money to say people need to work harder so they can be like me, what exactly what's so special about you that they should want to be like you? Because you're a millionaire? Okay. Because you have nice things? Okay. You can have a good life without having the richest, nicest things. Because you can date a bunch of girls or do a bunch of this or a bunch of that doesn't make you special. There are people who are poor that can do all of those things. There are people in the poorest neighborhoods in the world drive some of the nicest cars. And, maybe through non-legal games, but the point still stands. They still can attain some of those things. So what makes you different? Nothing. The belief that you're special is what makes you different. See, that's the thing. Again, this is what it's about, and it takes me back to the system. The system's way of sorting people out, and it reminds me, just like law school, the system's way of sorting people out is to assign something to them, money, to make them feel more special or more important than others. And if you need that, you should figure out how to get rid of that crutch in your life. You shouldn't have to try to feel more special or more important than other people in order to feel good about yourself. That is a problem. Whether you want to admit it's a problem or not, it is a problem. And you also have to think of how much is enough. Like, that's a question that people need to be asked. How much is enough? How much money do you need? How many businesses do you need? How many people do you need working for you? How much is enough?
Well, even for the people working, and this is a gripe for somebody like me who works multiple jobs, when you have billionaires but you don't pay your employees enough money. And I think when COVID happened and people realized how important people's lives were, a little bit more so, like I said, it took a lot of death for people to realize that. Now all of a sudden you have,
I still don't think they realize that.
You have businesses, and I would hate to call
they can't even staff. They can't even staff their company, and you want to know why?
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that you have like fast food restaurants. I'm not going to say which ones that are offering free education. They're going to pay all you had to work for them, free education.
Right.
All the money you fucking make, why was that not an option if you weren't going to pay them more money? Or don't give them free education and just pay them for more fucking money. Like, why were you nickeling and diming them so that you can stay rich and be up there, but now you need us? You see, the mentality is that we are replaceable. Mm-hmm. But now, you need us. For your business to strive, for you to continue being at top, you can't find no damn employees. You need us. Now you're bending over backwards. These rich people are doing whatever they think they need to do as a marketing ploy to keep their people so they can stay at the top. Meanwhile, they'll walk past a homeless person or drive past a homeless person in their nice car.
Get away from me, you bum.
Huh?
That's exactly what they say. Get away from me, you bum. That's exactly what they'll say.
And if you have millions and you have so much love inside of your heart, what are you doing to help others?
Oh, they're donating to some charity or something.
That doesn't cut it for me. I feel like if for all these people that have millions that donating to charities, you would feel like there would be less people on the
which is also a tax write-off. They're going to get that money back anyway. Which is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. When you donate to charity, it's a tax write-off. You'll get it back eventually anyway. See, it's just it's very interesting that we have a lot of people bogged down into thinking that this is what the world has to be. And I'll leave it with this. Are we really living life, or are we just existing day to day? For 6 weeks, I lived my life. I got up, I did what I wanted to do. I took care of my daughter. I enjoyed my life. That was the happiest that I had been in a while. For 6 weeks, I lived my life.
Well,
now,
not to cut you off, but what you said is so powerful and ironic, because I just heard something today. I was watching an interview of Trevor Noah on Jimmy Fallon, and he was talking about how Dave Chappelle tricked him into doing stand-up comedy. And he was talking about working with people like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. And he's talking to Chris Rock. Trevor Noah's talking to Chris Rock, and he's like, what are you going to go up there and talk about? And he's like, man, I work 7 days a week. I work no one that really I know that works that hard 7 days a week. I'm going to go up there and talk about that. And Chris Rock said to him, man, you're going to be the least funniest comedian in the entire world, because comedy comes from experience and pain and life. And how can you talk about living life and your experience and pain if all you did was work? So to me, that hit fucking hard, because next year I intend to live life. I don't have any kids to have that kind of same love and admiration, and hopefully one day maybe I do. But I can travel the world. So next year I'm traveling the world, and I think that that's going to give me experiences that are different than working 6-7 days a week like I've done for 15 plus years. Exactly. That's the happiness that I need.
Exactly. Just think about when you took a vacation, or you went and did something, or you spent time with your family. You remember that. Now think about what you did at work 2 years ago. Couldn't tell me, because it's not important. It's not living. You're just existing day to day. So, we got to figure out a way to, make life more than just making money. That is what I will say. It's, I get, we have a system that a lot of people thinks works, and any changes to it, they're just not going to be accepting of it. But to me, there's a better way to live life. I would be content if I could just live how I live right now and just take care of my daughter and take care of my family. I would be content. I would be happy, man. I would have said I lived a full life.
Now, my last question. What is the worst thing that Dominic did in this book that bothered you? You hate him so much. What's that worst thing that really created a lot of hate that he
Again, Michael, here's a haystack. Pull that needle out. There's so many things. Like there's so
has to be one major
from the beginning, from the
really
beginning, killing people, killing them, and then taking the kid. I guess taking Sky would be just like, it just bothers me so much. I guess the alternative is he could have killed them. So I guess that's somehow in a sense nice, but I can't. Okay. I can't do that. I just can't.
That's fine. My last question. I kind of want to know.
Notice I didn't get on you about your last question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Well, what did you say?
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, okay. Well, this is my last question. Is okay. Now that Dominic's dead, you have Walt Michaels. What do you think of him? What? When you read this book and it ended with Walt Michaels kind of being that new kind of Dominic aside with Sky that's running, what were you thinking? What were you hoping for? What are your thoughts on Walt?
Honestly, Michaels? I didn't even see Walt Michaels as a threat, to be honest, because we just got over this really big threat and we were just like, oh, well, here's this other person that's kind of bad. And I'm like, oh, he can't be worse than Dominic. So
okay.
That was my thoughts. He can't be worse than Dominic, so I guess. And
did you have a sense of happiness when Dominic died then, even though you didn't know a lot about Walt Michaels?
A sense of justice is what I would say, Michael. I'm a justice guy. A sense of justice.
Okay. Well, I think that we really experienced a lot here. We've experienced a lot here on Reporter B News. I know, like I said, that many people have been asking, emailing and sending in all kinds of notes. And, Reporter B, yes, correct.
Reporter bullshit.
You guys love it. The ratings are through the roof.
That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I'm seeing over here. Here's the thing.
A Legend Talks was doing real good. It was doing good. But then when A Legend Talks had introduced Reporter B News, skyrocketed. We are here.
This is the graph with Reporter B News, y'all. This is Reporter B. This is Reporter.
Signing off, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I am the legendary Michael Bowie.
Ain't nobody don't pass me. I'm just so fresh.
Are you gonna do your accent here?
So fresh and so clean. And the legendary, so fresh and so clean, Emmanuel Pierce.
Yeah, I smell bullshit. And this has been A Legend
Talks.